So good morning, students. Today we are going to undergo a very important topic that is VLSI process technology. So I am sharing my screen uh, so that if you can check it properly, and also let me know whether you can share my whether you can see my screen or not. Please check. So I hope now it is clear. Roshan, Ankita. Okay, okay. So you can unmute your self also and can say rather than writing in the chat box. So in VLSI process technology, if you can see here, this is the two method what I have already told you in the previous classes that basically it is having of a very hairline difference between VLSI design and technology. Design it is a process by means of which billions of transistors as well as in logic level gates also it can be embedded in a small single IC. So that design we I mean acquire, we call it as a VLSI, a very large scale integration design. And there are certain techniques are also we have been following in layout and parallel processing also, which will come in the later stages of your syllabus. So there we can see that those technologies of high-end CMOS and for digital logic application as well as mixed signal IC design, which is not there in your syllabus. Mixed signal mainly are there in the PG courses of VLSI or advanced VLSI. Okay, so those technology we call it as a VLSI technology. But quickly go through this I mean stages what we have already gone for, that is of silicon semiconductor technology. In WBUT you may get a detailed step, or maybe you can get a right short notes on any one of the topics. So here if you can see that in this silicon semiconductor technology, mainly these following points which is very much important for the IC fabrication, that is integrated circuit fabrication. So it is starting from crystal growth, oxidation, photolithography, diffusion, ion implantation, etching, epitaxial growth, and lastly metallization and packaging. So I have discussed up to oxidation and the photolithography. Again, I am recapitulating the same thing. So if you can check it out here, where you can see that the crystal growth, I told you earlier that silicon it is such a ambiguous in nature. Preferred material which cannot be available in your lab. It need to be processed before it is using as a pure silica, because the silica which is we used to get it in the soil absorbents, it is coming as a impure one. So that is why the carbide material and carbon material is always there. So in addition with the coal and wood chips at a temperature of around 1400 degree temperature, we can able to get it the metallurgical graded silicon, and that is if you take care of the percentage wise grading of the material, then you can get to know that of about 98.7% of purity we can get it in the that silica. Basically it is a silicon, and which it can be fetched from silicon carbide as well as the oxide material what it is layering over that particular silica material, we call it as silicon monoxide as well as carbon monoxide. Now moving towards with the silicon metallurgical graded silica, that is of 98% pure silica. In addition with the hydrochloric acid at a temperature of 300 degree temperature, we used to get it that trichlorosilane. What I am moving it here, I am pointing my mouse, if you can see here, and that trichlorosilane with the addition of hydrogen gas at around of 1150 to 1200 degrees centigrade, we can able to get a electronic graded silica. So there we can get the almost pure silica. Okay, so that thing there is a possibility of getting the pure silica over there. Tenzing, can you hear me? Tenzing Thinle, Tenzing, I guess, can you hear me? Okay, so there we can see that if you take care of that particular proper silica, then you can get to have access of the graded silica of 99% of purity of silica, as well as the combination of hydrochloric acid, which in turn of going for the next step of oxidation, where the two type of oxidation I discussed. One is thermal oxidation technique, and in thermal oxidation technique there is one is dry oxidation and this is wet oxidation. In dry oxidation, if you can see, obviously there will be no moisture content which will be added. So silica plus oxygen in a combination of both silica as well as in oxidized. When we put it that silica in air, automatically without the moisture content, if we can see it and if we can process it under 900 to 1200 degree temperature, we can get to see the compound material of silicon dioxide. Whereas in wet oxidation, yes, it is very easy to get it. And I told you earlier, for any sort of IC fabrication steps, this chemical equation is very, very important, where the silicon, in addition with the moisture content, can be taken care of. And if it can be processed under 700 to 1100 degree temperature, we can get the silicon dioxide with an addition of hydrogen gas. So therefore, I have also mentioned the footnote over here, that oxide thickness. I told you earlier initially that for IC fabrication, remember one thing, that the oxide thickness, whatever we are getting it, it is it is in ultra thin of width of about of 2 nanometer to maximum 3 nanometer. Okay, so therefore I have already discussed that the effect of the thickness, okay, of oxidation, that is the gate oxide material, over the IC fabrication, how best it is having the impact on IC fabrication, that also we have discussed in the previous classes categorically. Also in this class, we want to discuss about that how best it can be obtainable from the wet oxidation. So therefore we can get silicon dioxide, and this silicon dioxide, it can be a very well used as a dielectric material. Okay, so therefore we generally without any cost we can get the silicon dioxide. So therefore I always prefer, I told you that those who are from doing the most fabrication over IC fabrication. So in these fabrications they always prefer silicon material rather than germanium or any other compound material, because if you want to go for any sort of oxidation, designing those sort of oxidation, it requires a huge cost. So therefore generally we try to remove that cost by doing and simply adding silicon with moisture content, so that we can get silicon dioxide with hydrogen gas. And there are one more important topic is also their chemical vapor deposition, although I have mentioned over here, but there is a detailed discussion is there in CVD. I will do it in the next class, because in CVD technique there is a lot many things is there which need to be added in the as a short note. So therefore I will better discuss this thing in the next class. But let me tell you one thing which is very, very important, that is of photolithography, where I told you earlier that in University of previous all the years you might be able to see those questions. So write a short note on photolithography, or what's the concept of about photolithography, so they can ask it for maximum 5 marks of question. It's a very, very important topic, where photolithography, by the name itself we can understand that there is a concept of introduction of the UV light for gas. So that is why in the left hand side of the diagram what I have made, and the right hand side of the diagram I scanned from a textbook, okay, that is offered by WBUT, that is Makauti, and that book, it is of Oxford Publications of Devaprasad Das. So from there I have scanned the image, so for your better understanding. And the left hand side what I have get from a reputed journal, I have take it from there, and from there I have assisted this diagram. I hope this colorful diagram, it will give you a lot of indication to for ease of understanding, where the yellow color mentioned diagram is there in the left hand side of number 1. So that is, we call it a silicon vapor. I told you earlier that why silicon is important, because it is it's ambiguous in nature. So therefore silicon is the best material by means of which we can make the vapor. And since it is in nanometer to ultra thin nanometer, okay, so nanometer to micrometer to nanometer regime, so therefore the wafer width measurement is very difficult. So therefore in the lab videos I told you earlier that what best we can make a common W by L ratio of the CMOS. So therefore we can see that the width of W by L ratio of the MOS can affect much more in case of patterning and floor planning of the IC fabrication. So therefore that silicon wafer, it plays a major role over the silicon dioxide. So therefore the silicon dioxide, it is acting as a gate oxide material that is used to put it over the wafer material. And once the wafer material is being put over there, so then we had to put the photoresist. Photoresist operation is that it is of two type. One is hardened photoresist, another is softened photoresist. So here in this particular photoresist, what happens is that if it is a hardened photoresist, automatically it cannot be soluble. It's very simple one. The second step here, what we do is that in hardened photoresist, if we place the soluble part, what happens is that for after chemical vapor deposition, that is CVD technique, one part will be soluble, that we call as softened photoresist, and one part will never be soluble, okay, that will remain fixed. So that will be the hardened photoresist. Okay, so that is the difference between hardened and softened photoresist. That is number one. And second is that a thin, very thin glass layer material, I told you, for generally masking we used to do it. So for that masking purpose, we use a very ultra thin layer of that particular sort of, we place it over that particular photoresist. What we can see over here, so in this method we call it as masking. Okay, in VLSI we call it as masking over there, where over the photoresist we do, and also and it is incidenting on the UV light. Now high heavy photon energy that is getting incidenting on this mask, what happens is that is making sure that ultimately few of the portion will be etched away, few of the portion will not. So what I want to say is that here in VLSI, etching away is something which is related to removing away. Got my point? I mean, the point is that where you can see in the third diagram where the red color is there. So red color is nothing but a deep, boxes being created. That's an empty one that's been created over there by introducing of the UV light. So where we can able to see that ultimately few of those regions ultimately is getting darkened, and those regions ultimately will be etched away by chemical like I mean concentrated hydrochloric acid, sort of like that material, where if you can place it, those materials ultimately those things will be etched away or removed away. And why we require etching? Why we require etching is very very important. If you can see in the fourth diagram, the specific regions are actually getting removed away, right? Right, in the fourth diagram, if you can see here, I am pointing my I mean the mouse, so that you can see we call it as patterning. So the third step is masking, second step is photoresisting, and then third step is masking, fourth step is very very important, we call it as patterning photoresist. Okay, so I want to say one thing, that why we do require this etching. There has to be some I mean motive to this, right? So that is why do you go for it? Because see, ultimately in this class we are discussing about the IC fabrication, and if you're talking of about IC fabrication, what are the devices it need to be integrated? That is nothing but transistors. Transistor is having three legs. So one is source, one is drain, one is gate. So gate, we know that it is has to be insulated, and the remaining electrodes, that is I mean that source and drain, it need to be directly connected to the channel. So the point is that how these electrodes can ultimately getting connected to the body. So therefore we need to understand that this etching is very very important, what I'm showing in the fourth diagram. So therefore we have to make sure that yes, here we can make one that is PMOS, and here we can make one NMOS. And yes, here the gate need to be connected, here the gate need to be connected. And why NMOS and PMOS both need to be connected? Why? Because ultimately we are designing a CMOS. So if it is a complementary MOS, we have to have embed MMOS as well as PMOS. That is N-type MOS, metal oxide semiconductor, another is P-type semiconductor, metal oxide semiconductor. The combination of PMOS and MOS ultimately results you CMOS, complementary MOS. So that is why we are always going for this. And we all know that the red color, it is undesired one, because after the processing automatically it is coming I mean layered over the blue color one. So that is why that thing need to be stripped off. So therefore, if you can see in the figure number 5, where ultimately we are saying this thing as a strip resist, that means we have to strip it away, because unnecessary, if these materials are getting layered, ultimately you are going to sacrifice with the area. And in VLSI, what are the three major factors are there? Number one is speed, which is related to area and related to power consumption. So automatically remember one thing, if you follow these steps, what we will get to see is that less number of transistors will be, if it can be fit in that particular small single IC. So automatically we will improve or optimize the area, and if the area is getting optimized, ultimately we can enhance the speed of operation. And also simultaneously we have to look the matter also of power consumption, because we cannot simply allow the power consumption to be lifted away. Now if the power consumption is to be shooted up, then ultimately we will be sacrificing with the power consumption, because as a VLSI designer, we would not like to have any IC that is to be fabricated by having much amount of high amount of power consumption. We would never would like to have it, right? So therefore we always keep in mind that we always go for such kind of optimization technique, by means of which we can ensure that the speed of the devices will be taken care of. And also simultaneously we need to understand that the power consumption, it need to be trading off. Why it need to be traded off? Because what happens is that sometimes if we try to reduce the device scaling, what happens that the leakage current is, we may have to sometime sacrifice with the leakage current. If you talk about something in the modern device technology, there ultimately we are talking about of the end lines of the Moore's law. So there we can see that ultimately there may be a chances of losing it, of the leakage current. So therefore this concept is also very very important. So therefore we generally do not entertain such techniques. We have to go for optimizing these areas. So up to this much of today's class is very very thoughtful. We had to go for it. Please go through the book what I have told you, that is Deva Prasad Das of Oxford Publications. It's a very reputed book. You please go through this, and if you have any difficulty, there is a question answer session also is there, which is included in addition of it. If you have any doubts, you always can feel free to talk with me in the next class. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So right now what I'm going to do is that I mean stop sharing, so that you able to see me. And also please switch on your camera, because we need to record the attendance of today's class. So please switch on the camera. Tenzing, Roshan, Roshan, if you can hear me, you please switch on your camera. Tenzing, this is okay up to this much? Hello? Your voice is not coming, Tenzing. Okay? Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, but your voice is not coming. Okay. Roshan, yeah, what happened? Yeah, please try to switch on your video. Okay. Okay. Is it audible from there? I hope you are okay. Okay. From Tenzing, it is fine. Roshan, okay. Okay, 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 okay. So that is the thing. And one more thing is that there are a few important questions I would like to discuss in the next class also, which will giving you such kind of an idea, okay, of this third module. Because in this third module there are many questions which is coming in the earlier previous WBT questions. I would also like to cover it up, so that you can have a better idea that if in the next semester exam may be nearing in March or April, so there if we can have it in online, you please get to see that what are the things need to be taken care of. And in addition to that, I will share few important questions related to this module. Okay. Okay, thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Tenzing. Okay, so we will meet in the next class. Thank you. Thank you.